Hey, hello everyone, welcome to my fourth Python course. In this video, we are going to be working with input in Python. So what is input in Python? Input is just a function that take anything from the user. Let me just say that anything. It can take a string, um, a number. So let's say that input takes data type from the user. So I don't want to say that the opposite of input is the print function, because the opposite of input is output. But input just work like the print function, so it is the inverse of the print function in Python. So let me put that into code. So to begin to work with input in Python, we are going to be using the keyword input in Python. So which is an input like this, input, then the two parentheses. So if you run this code now, so let me run this code. So Python is waiting for me to input something to the screen. This is the stop button. So if I should click this, it is going to stop. This is process finished with exit code -1. So if I rerun this code, Python is waiting for me to input something. So if I input 5, so I just get process finish with exit code because I didn't print what is inside the input. So if I should print like this, so Python is waiting for me to input something. So let me input hello like this. So the output is hello. So this is what I input and this is what I get. So you can also set input to a variable. So we can say that a is equals to input like this, then print a. So if I run this code, Python is waiting for me to input something. So if I input 5, I'll get 5. So if you want to give your input to a specific thing like this, you want the user to enter something, you can just type a text inside this input like this, inside this parentheses. So run your Python code, we get enter. So Python is waiting for me to input something. So let me just enter a word. Now the output is word. Now looking at this input, this is a is equals to input. So by default, this input is a string. So to change this input to an integer, first let me first print the type of a like this. So I run this Python code. If I should type just gibberish like this, I get class string. So if I should rerun this code and even type a number, I'm going to get a class string. So to change this to an integer, so you are going to add an integer here, which is an integer like this. I've added two integers, so I have to erase. Oh, this is a type. I've actually cleared the input. So a is equals to integer input, enter number, print a, and also print type a. Now let me run this code. So enter number, this is 4. Now the output is 4 and it is a class integer. So assuming we want to convert this degree to Celsius, this we want to convert a degree to Celsius like this, and what we did before was just input, and to convert a degree to Celsius you have to multiply this degree by 1.8, then add it plus 32. So print type degree. I'm just wasting my time because this won't work. So enter a number. If I should enter 4, I'm getting type error, can't multiply sequence by non-integer of type float. So to do this, you have to convert this to float. Why do I type float? Because this is 1.8, so you have to convert this to float. And also the user can input something like 5.5 or 2.35, all those decimal values. So if I should input 30, so 30 degrees Celsius is equals to 86 degree Fahrenheit, and that is just it. So why I did float was that if I should make this an integer like this, and my input is 5.5, then I run this Python code, I'll get a value error invalid error for integer with base 10, and I input 5.5. So this is the error. Now this is the error actually. So I input an integer, a float, which I use a integer annotation here, integer data type, which is an integer. So I have to convert this to a float like this for it to run. So 5.5, I'm going to get my output as 41.9 because 5.5 multiplied by 1.8 is something, and plus 32 is equals to 49.9. And that is for input. So let me just show you how to swap a variable in Python. The quickest way to swap a variable in Python. So we can see that A is equals to 5 and B is equals to 14. So to swap this variable, you just have to say that A comma B is equals to B comma A. Now let me print something like this. A is equals to A and B like this, and B is equals to B. So when I run this code, the first input is working. Let me just input 5 and let's see what is going to happen. So I got A is equals to 14, B is equals to 5. What happened here was that I swapped this variable. A is equals to 5, B is equals to 14. So after setting A, this A is now equals to B, then this B is now equals to A. So print A is equals to A, B is equals to B. Since we've swapped it here, so our output will be A is equals to 14, B is equals to 5. So it is now swapped. Now let's move on back to input. To get an input for a complex number, we can see that let's just say that C is equals to, which stands for complex, is equals to complex input like this, input number, then print C like this. So enter number will work first, 54, which is going to convert 54 to a degree Fahrenheit. So this is the next one running now that is waiting for me to input. So let me input 5 and let's see what we're going to get. So the output is 5 plus 0j. So it means that the imaginary part is 0 while this real part is 5. And that is just it for input. So if I just say that input name is equals to input name. So even though you want the user to input a number and you want your output to be a string, so you can just type str like this, which stands for string. So name is equals to string input name. So if I should print name and also type name, so let me run my Python code. The first one that we do run before, which is the degree to Fahrenheit. The second one is for the complex, so it's 78. So the third one is for the name. So let me input my YouTube channel name, which is always appear. So the output is always appear, and this is class string. So if I should say that name plus, let me say that I am name and I am like this now, age. So let me create a age variable which is equals to um input. Now I'll show you something now in this code. Input age. So I have used an integer here like this. So and I say that and I am plus, which is age, plus years old. Now looking at this code, is this code even correct? Now PyCharm is pointing this out, but let me first run this code. I'll not tell you the error. So let me comment all this Python code up here just to save some time. So I'm going to be using the block comment now, all the way up to this place. Now that is the work of block comment. So when I run this code, it is going to wait for me to input always appear my name. Then the second one will be age, which is 17. So if I input this, I get type error, cannot concatenate string, not integer, to string. So cannot concatenate string plus an integer. That is what the error means. So in this code, we've used a plus and we cannot add an integer plus a string. So in this scenario, I just have to change this integer back to a string. You can either use the normal input or just add a string here like this. But we don't really need this because the default input is just a string. So let's just remove this parentheses. So if I run this code now, name always appear, and age is equals to 17. So this is I am always appear and I am 17 years old. So that is what the code does. So in the future video, I'm going to be showing you how to concatenate a string plus an integer. Not really concatenate, but how to use a string with an integer in my next Python course. So that is just for it for input. Thanks for watching and I will see you guys in my next video.